Good evening, everyone. This is Melissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with the evening news rundown for your Thursday, September 24th, 2020. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. And as a reminder, for any businesses or larger corporations that are interested in advertising or sponsoring one of our segments, be sure to shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more. We'd love to get started with you. In the meantime, guys, we always like to get you started with the latest COVID-19 reports globally here in the United States and in the state of Florida. So globally, the World Health Organization is reporting over 31.6 million confirmed cases and over 972,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the United States, Johns Hopkins University is reporting over 6.9 million confirmed cases and over 202,000 confirmed deaths. Here in the state of Florida, we're seeing over 693,000 confirmed cases and over 13,800 confirmed deaths. Now, jumping into our world story, France is set to raise its COVID-19 alert to the highest level, the scarlet level, in Paris and other major cities. They made this announcement very recently. They have reported a surge in daily cases, prompting officials to urge people to limit social gatherings and wear masks in public at all times. In the larger Paris-Île-de-France area, the incidence rate of infection has risen to 204 per 100,000 inhabitants, which is higher than in other hard-hit cities such as Lyon and Marseille, which have already tightened measures to curb virus transmission. The capital had a positive COVID-19 test rate of 9.9% last week, compared to a national rate of 6.1% on Tuesday. And back on Tuesday, Lyon became the latest city to limit attendance at major outdoor events, including festivals, to 1,000 people, and it prohibits the sale and consumption of alcohol outdoors from 8 p.m. local time. Now, the new rules for Lyon, which is France's third largest city, which, fun fact on that, France's third largest city, followed similar measures in Marseille, Bordeaux, and Nice as the COVID-19 virus resurges across the country, and the testing system kind of buckles under public demand. Now, jumping here to the United States, and a bit of good news here, Johnson & Johnson is now moving into their final phase of clinical trials. So that is a bit of good news, especially in light of the very recent grim milestone of the 200,000 plus who have passed away here in the United States due to COVID-19. But they announced on Wednesday that they're beginning their final stages of clinical trials. Johnson & Johnson is the fourth company to do so in the US, and it is by far, their trial will be by far the largest. They're enrolling 60,000, which is actually double what several of the other pharmaceutical companies are enrolling, which is 30,000 participants. So that is good news, and congratulations to Johnson & Johnson. The company said it could know by the end of the year if its vaccine works, as its vaccine has potentially consequential advantages over some competitors. So it uses a technology that has a long safety record in vaccines for other diseases, and the vaccine, theirs by comparison, could only require one shot instead of two that we've heard from other pharmaceutical companies, which is important considering that the entire population of the world is likely going to need this vaccine. And it doesn't have to be kept frozen as it is delivered to hospitals and other places where it will be given to patients, which therefore simplifies the logistics of hundreds of millions of doses. So that is great news coming out of Johnson & Johnson as it relates to that vaccine. Now, the president has repeatedly claimed that a vaccine will be ready before Election Day on November 3rd, and urged federal regulators to act quickly to approve one, which of course raised fears that they would bow to pressure and rush their vetting process. Dr. Fauci, for his part, made sure to make that promise that there will be no shortcuts when it comes to this particular program. The federal government's Operation Warp Speed program has invested more than $10 billion in private companies' COVID-19 vaccines to date, including about 1.5 to Johnson & Johnson specifically to develop and manufacture its vaccine. Now, jumping here to the state of Florida, you guys heard us talk a little while ago about the Greek houses at UCF that have had to quarantine already due to COVID-19 cases, but two more UCF Greek houses have had to go under quarantine due to COVID-19 cases. The results have come back as positive. And this is, of course, as part of their initiative that we reported to you about the random testing that UCF is doing across campus for students, faculty, and staff. So those who refuse to be tested could face disciplinary action, such as suspension. Those who test positive will have to isolate themselves and answer questions about people that they might have exposed. Now, they reportedly started the test on Monday, as in a few days ago, with 100 students in those Greek organizations. And over the last 3 weeks, a total of 5 Greek houses have been told to quarantine for 2 weeks. And testing will continue throughout the semester. We'll continue to keep you guys posted and updated on that. In the meantime, we're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to come back with some more stories for you. Stay tuned.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
All right, guys, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. In our next story, you guys have likely heard 2 police officers were shot and wounded in the protests ensuing after the Breonna Taylor case ruling. So just a bit of an update on that for those who may not have heard what's been going on with that. Of course, the grand jury decided that none of the 3 officers involved in the fatal police raid on Breonna Taylor's apartment would be charged directly for her death, although 1 officer was indicted on charges of endangering her neighbors. So this brings me to the audience question before I even go any further into more details of what has happened. I do want to share the audience question with you. What are your thoughts on the grand jury's ruling? Leave a comment below. What are your thoughts on the protests that have ensued? Let us know what your thoughts are. But continuing on with updates on this, after that ruling came down, Kentucky, the state of Kentucky Attorney General, the gentleman you see pictured here, he came out and did a press conference, and he said that the panel had declined to bring any charges whatsoever against 2 of the 3 policemen who fired into Taylor's apartment back on March 13th. Now, Governor Andy Beshear called on Attorney General Cameron, to release all evidence from the investigation to benefit the public's understanding of the case. The governor said, quote, "Those feeling frustration and hurt, they deserve to know more," he said. Now, addressing that late afternoon press conference, Mayor Greg Fisher said the U.S. Justice Department was still investigating whether federal laws were broken in connection with Taylor's death, including possible civil rights violations, while a broader police inquiry remained underway. As it relates to the 2 officers who were shot and wounded, interim Louisville Metropolitan Police Chief Robert Schroeder told the reporters that they were shot and wounded, but also said that 1 person was arrested and the 2 wounded officers were in stable condition, one of which was undergoing surgery. So no further details yet, but we'll continue to keep you updated. Now, coming here to the state of Florida, you guys have heard the continued back and forth as it relates to restoring voting rights to felons or ex-felons, to be specific. And recently, former Mayor Michael Bloomberg made quite the splash by raising funds to assist felons who do have restitution and other fees that they have to pay back, given the latest ruling as it relates to that. The latest ruling is, so far, felons still have to pay back what they owe. So Mayor Michael Bloomberg decided, okay, I'm going to raise $16 million to go ahead and help felons pay back those fees and restitution. However, Attorney General Ashley Moody here in the state of Florida decided to raise the red flag on that. And she has called for the state and federal law enforcement on Wednesday to investigate possible election law violations after Bloomberg raised the $16 million. She posits that this may be an incentive to vote. So they might be offering incentives for voting. So Governor DeSantis had asked Moody to review allegations that Bloomberg and the Florida Rights Restoration Coalition had violated the law by offering those incentives. In a written statement, Attorney General Moody said, quote, "I have instructed the statewide prosecutor to work with law enforcement and any statewide grand jury that the governor may call." Now, of course, back in 2018, voters approved the constitutional amendment, Amendment 4, to restore most felons' voting rights once they've completed their sentences, with the exception of murderers and sex offenders. However, when crafting the law to implement the amendment, The majority Republican legislature stated that rights wouldn't be restored until all fines, court fees, and restitutions were paid. So while the coalition says it doesn't target people based on their political affiliation, Attorney General Moody is questioning whether the donation violates that law in terms of giving people incentives to vote. The latest ruling, as I mentioned earlier, a federal appellate court ruled on September 11th that in addition to serving their sentences, Florida felons must pay all fines, restitution, and legal fees before they can regain their right to vote. Now, Moody's letter was sent on the same day Governor DeSantis and the independently elected cabinet, acting as the state clemency board, decided not to act on a pardon petition sought by Florida Rights Restoration Coalition President Desmond Meade. Now, Attorney General Moody is a cabinet member, but declined to vote on Meade's request for a pardon. Governor DeSantis said he wanted more time to review his case. Now, the question on satisfying financial obligations before voting rights are restored continues to be battled. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated. It continues to be battled in court. On September 11th, a federal appeals court reversed a lower court ruling that gave Florida felons the right to vote, regardless of that restitution stuff. So we'll continue to keep you guys updated. And if you have any comments on the matter, leave those comments below as well. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to keep the conversation going. In the meantime, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and we'll come back with your business and sports story. Stay tuned.
I'm not picking it up. You pick it up.
I'm not picking it up.
Well, somebody's got to pick it up.
I'll pick it up. They're clean. 'Cause my hand is clean. Oh yeah, I'm Charmin clean. That's how I know they're clean.
Charmin Ultra Strong is woven like a washcloth and just cleans better.
Yeah, I'm Charmin clean.
The kid does have a point.
My hand is clean. Yeah.
Enjoy the go with Charmin. And for an extra clean finish, try Charmin Flushable Wipes.
All right, everyone, welcome back to the Evening News Rundown. In our business story, California could set the precedent on a national scale in terms of transforming the automotive industry as we know it. Governor Gavin Newsom made the announcement of an executive order that California will outlaw sales of new gasoline-powered passenger cars and trucks by the year 2035. He had made this announcement on Wednesday, a move he says will cut greenhouse gas emissions by 35% in the nation's most populous state. His plan wouldn't ban people from owning gas-powered cars or selling them on the used car market, but it would end the sales of all new gasoline-powered passenger cars and trucks in the state of nearly 40 million people. He said, quote, "Pull away from the gas pumps. Let us no longer be victims of geopolitical dictators that manipulate global supply chains and global markets." Now, White House spokesman Judd Deere said Newsom's order will hurt the economy and is, quote, "yet another example of how extreme the left has become. They want the government to dictate every aspect of every American's life," end quote. Now, California is the world's 5th largest economy, and Californians account for more than 1 out of every 10 new vehicles sold in the U.S. market. And clout that means Newsom's order could have a huge impact on the country's auto industry and the global effort to reduce pollution and combat climate change. California already has rules mandating a certain percentage of new car sales must be electric or zero-emission vehicles. Now, this rule would make California the first U.S. state with a plan to phase them out completely. Now, on the plus side, California isn't alone. It's unique in terms of the United States, but there are other nations that have done something similar already. At least 15 other countries have made similar commitments, including Germany, France, and Norway. Now, the Alliance for Automotive Innovation, which represents most automakers, including Ford, which Newsom lauded for its anti-pollution efforts, said that although the industry is committed to more electric vehicles and will work with California, markets can't be built with mandates and bans. So there still seems to be a back and forth about that. Now, roughly a dozen states follow California's lead on auto emissions standards that are more restrictive than their federal rules. And if those states follow suit on the zero emission vehicles, it could have a huge impact on the US automobile industry. So very interesting on that. Now, jumping into our sports story very quickly, we're coming back to the state of Florida, actually. And we're talking Friday Night Lights. West Orange High, they actually they're planning to go ahead and have their Friday night football game, but not on their campus, because as of right now, their particular campus is closed due to COVID-19. There were some cases there. However, Boone High School is the school that they'll be playing against, and Boone's campus is still open. So they're going to go ahead and go forward with their game Friday night. So congrats to West Orange High School for being able to go forward on that. All 922 face-to-face students and staff at West Orange High School will return to campus on October 1st, not the 5th like originally anticipated. So the high school made the announcement on Wednesday morning stating that they're ready for football and can play their scheduled game against Boone on Friday. So congratulations to them. That is some exciting news. Orange County School Superintendent Dr. Barbara Jenkins said that she has no concerns with the game going forward. She said that, quote, West Orange did everything we asked them to do. Those young men tested negative. They have been cohorted and separated during class time, so they were separated from the quarantine. Now, this will be the first game of the year for West Orange High School, so those football players are more than excited. Their game was canceled last week after 5 players at Evans High School had tested positive for COVID-19. A coach for West Orange High School was under quarantine, but has tested negative for the virus and will be allowed on the sidelines for the game. And in addition, the school district said that bands, cheerleaders, dance teams, and JROTC will be allowed to participate in the football games again as well. So Friday Night Lights is promising. In the meantime, guys, we're going to take another quick commercial break, and we will be back with your Entertainment 4 for 4 with Jamesia Stoudemire. Stay tuned.
There's more than one way to enjoy a Moreno Bakery custom cake. You could smash it, swipe it, love it, cut it, devour it. Moreno Bakery, for every slice of life.
All right, guys, it is time for the Entertainment 4 for 4 with the lovely Jamesia Stoudemire out of Los Angeles, California. So without further ado, we will bring her on in. Good afternoon, Jamesia. How's it going?
Good afternoon. It's going great. Of course, it's sunshiny here in Los Angeles, California. How are you doing today, Melissa?
Doing awesome. Always a pleasure to have you.
Oh, thank you guys for having me. Let's get it started.
Absolutely.
Hey, guys. My name is Jamesia Stoudemire, reporting live from Los Angeles, California, and here is your today's Entertainment 4 for 4. Starting off with number 1. Celeb slam ruling in Breonna Taylor's case. From actors to athletes to musicians and even organizations and brands have been using their platforms for months on months calling for justice in the police shooting of Breonna Taylor. In this picture here, you can see some of the influencers and celebrities that have spoken out, from Common, Lecrae, Kerry Washington, and several others. We we're also reported here with Oprah putting several billboards in Kentucky, as well as having her on the cover of her O magazine, as well as Time magazine. Even if you go back to this past weekend in the Emmys when Regina King won, she was actually wearing a shirt with Breonna Taylor's name. And what has came in, if those that don't know, and Melissa just actually reported on, they have found none of the officers guilty in shooting Breonna Taylor, and only one officer has been indicted in I guess shooting for possibly and injuring her neighbors. So nothing for the family and nothing for her, and all 3 of those police officers are found not guilty. And this actually came from the Attorney General of Kentucky. His name is Daniel Cameron, and he announced this. The announcement came after the grand jury decided, but he put the announcement and reported to the news. And in that moment, he took the opportunity to let people know that they should not be influenced by other people, influencers and celebrities, and to keep the protests peaceful. However, I actually have a quote here from Queen Latifah, who actually is from Kentucky, and she was very let down by this. And I'm just going to go ahead and read a couple of things that she has said. It is a very complicated situation, but it ain't right, and enough already. It's time for some people to go to jail. Queen Latifah, who was a recording artist and actor. She had her own show. If you don't know Queen Latifah, just Google. But she actually was born, raised in Kentucky. She cut tobacco on farms in Kentucky. Both her parents, her sister lived there, and she actually owns a home in Kentucky. And she just spoke out, completely against what the AG had said. And, honestly, if you go to AP and just look at the complete article, there's several celebrities. And I know personally there's several friends and just people in general that do not agree with this decision. And honestly, Kentucky, you got to do better. All right, guys, let's go on to number 2. We won't keep it too low. New Year's Eve in Times Square is it's going to be completely, but partially virtual. So, guys, we're getting close to the fourth quarter of the year and preparations of planning must begin. And unfortunately, we are still in the era of COVID-19 and the official new normal. So the planning committee is putting things in place to make the event virtual for everyone in the world to be able to participate. Some of those details haven't been shared yet, but they are working on some amazing things to make it happen and partnering with some amazing people to make that happen. They are going to be honoring this coming year essential workers and those that have made a difference in 2020. So there'll be some great people. They're going to have limited in-person honorees, but of course, we'll have our amazing hosts that will be on Times Square, but it'll definitely be a different year not seeing all the people in Times Square because, of course, we have to social distance. So interesting. We shall see what happens as the story unfolds. Going on to number 3. The Met Opera skips this season, and the first Black composer will be doing his opera in 2021 to 2022. So just little details. This is the first time actually in 140 years that a complete season will be skipped of the Metropolitan Opera. But when it does return, it is coming with his first Black composer, Terrence Blanchard, and he will be doing his show, Fire Shut Up in My Bones. Now, this show actually premiered in St. Louis and their opera theater, and so they'll be coming back with him. He has some amazing stars, and it will actually be running from September all the way until June 11th, 2021, which makes it an extended season compared to normal opera seasons. But I'm definitely excited, and I'm happy that they're giving this opportunity to an African American to get his shine. All right, guys, and number 4, Tiger King star Carole Baskin is being sued for defamation. Why is Carole Baskin back in the news? All right, guys. Carole Baskin currently on ABC Dancing with the Stars, as you see her gracefully flowing across the room, recently is being sued by Anne McQueen, who was her former secretary of her late husband, as well as his 3 daughters of Don Lewis, which is her late husband, who mysteriously disappeared years ago. And if many of you remember, Carole Baskin is one of the stars of Tiger King, which was on Netflix. And as we all know, our other, what is his name? I completely just forgot. He was accusing her of feeding her husband to the lions. So since that whole show came out, definitely more people's ears have perked up. And now that this lawsuit has been put into place, they have actually added to that lawsuit a pure bill of discovery, which allows information in a case to be gathered before a civil complaint is filed. So her husband's case is still completely open. So with this information, now they'll be able to put a case against her, and it's never been tried in court. So no facts, nothing has been even researched. So Carole Baskin says she hasn't done anything wrong and she never killed her husband, but definitely the facts will be brought to light. All right, guys, my name is Jamesia Studemeyer. I want to thank you all for watching the Entertainment 444 on the Florida National News Evening Rundown. And if you guys want to follow me, you can go to Instagram and type in THE_ENT_MOGUL. Melissa, back over to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jamesia. Always a pleasure to have you on.
No
Appreciate it.
See you later.
All right. And that does it here for us, ladies and gentlemen, at the Evening News Rundown. Thank you guys, as always, for tuning in. If you haven't yet, be sure to like, share, follow, subscribe, all that fun stuff. You'll find us at Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And when you're on YouTube, be sure to not only click the subscribe button, but also click the little bell icon to get all the notifications for all of our shows. And another quick reminder for anyone interested in advertising or sponsoring one of our segments, be sure to shoot us an email at ads@floridanationalnews.com to find out more. In the meantime, continue to stay safe. Make sure you check on your loved ones. There's still a lot going on in the world. And just a reminder for our audience question, let us know your thoughts on the Breonna Taylor ruling, or even your thoughts on what's going on here in the state of Florida as it relates to Attorney General Moody and the investigation that she is requesting into former Mayor Michael Bloomberg's fundraising to help felony voters. We love to have that conversation with you guys and love to hear more from you. But in the meantime, have a great rest of your day. Take care.